You awaken to your iPhone's alarm, groaning at the lost sleep. Checking your email, you find a notification from Amazon about your delivered package. Rushing to open it, you grab Johnson & Johnson medicine. Glancing at the clock, you realize it's 8 a.m., just an hour before work. Quickly tackling emails on your Microsoft computer, you skip breakfast and opt for McDonald's on the go. What if I told you that every single company you just interacted with in the first hour of your day is heavily influenced in large part by one company, BlackRock? For more enthusiastic content and exclusive quarterly giveaways, subscribe to our channel now. Don't forget to hit the like button on each video. Your feedback and new suggestions are always welcomed. Let's make our content even better together. BlackRock, a colossal investment giant, holds a commanding stake in some of the world's largest companies, boasting an astounding $10 trillion in global assets. This amount surpasses half of America's entire gross domestic product, consolidating vast financial power within a single corporate entity. It's easy to view such dominance with suspicion. Yet, BlackRock doesn't directly own these companies or their shares. Instead, its clients maintain ownership while BlackRock handles management duties, a crucial distinction. Nevertheless, BlackRock exerts substantial influence over these corporations through its significant control of their stocks. Companies often strive to stay in BlackRock's good graces to avoid potential divestment. While BlackRock may not be as malevolent as some believe, there's a noticeable sense of duplicity in its actions, a hint of hypocrisy. Founded 34 years ago by Larry Fink, BlackRock experienced explosive growth under his guidance. In just 5 years, Fink transformed the company from a $5 million venture into an $8 billion powerhouse, primarily by managing funds from prestigious institutions like pensions, university endowments, and the wealthy elite. Today, Fink's influence transcends the financial sector. He holds positions on prestigious boards such as the Council on Foreign Relations and the World Economic Forum, attracting attention from global business leaders and political figures. With BlackRock poised to accumulate unprecedented power, speculation abounds regarding its potential for global influence. The 2008 financial crisis provided a pivotal moment for BlackRock. It secured exclusive contracts to manage distressed banks, further bolstering Fink's already considerable authority and establishing direct connections with the American government. A similar scenario unfolded in 2020 during the pandemic, as the government turned to BlackRock to stabilize the Federal Reserve amid economic turmoil. During economic crisis, BlackRock's influence surged despite their promotion of environmental, social, and governance (ESG) criteria. While heralded for championing ESG investing in 2020, skepticism remains. Before BlackRock's advocacy, ESGs were rarely discussed in earnings calls. By May 2021, they accounted for 20% of discussions, signaling a societal shift towards corporate responsibility. While BlackRock urges social and environmental responsibility, their actions contradict their rhetoric. They invest in fossil fuels and engage with entities violating human rights. Vanguard, a similar firm, follows suit, revealing a pattern of hypocrisy. BlackRock acknowledges climate change but remains a top investor in fossil fuels, although they influence ExxonMobil to address climate concerns. Despite advocating against gun violence, BlackRock is the leading investor in gun manufacturers, raising doubts about their commitment to change. BlackRock's entanglement with the defense industry is concerning, as they funnel vast sums into companies producing weapons of war, indirectly supporting conflicts like those in Yemen, where innocent civilians suffer. Their cozy relationship with China raises eyebrows too. Being the first major investment firm granted access to Chinese funds prompts questions about the deals struck behind closed doors. While the notion of companies embracing social responsibility is appealing, many merely pay lip service. BlackRock epitomizes this trend, appearing virtuous in public while engaging in practices that contradict their stated values. BlackRock's power extends to geopolitics, notably in Ukraine. Despite advocating for ESG principles, it turns a blind eye to human rights violations in pursuit of profit. For instance, it heavily invests in Russia despite the country's actions in Crimea. Even as tensions escalated, BlackRock maintained its investments until the outbreak of war, contributing to the conflict through financial support. The rise of BlackRock's global influence began with advancements in technology. Yet, its unchecked power and questionable practices underscore the need for scrutiny and accountability in the financial sector. BlackRock's foundation lies in ETFs, or exchange-traded funds, which spread investments across various assets to mitigate risk. Rather than purchasing stocks in individual companies, investors buy into a fund that holds a mix of stocks, commodities, and securities. This strategy, bolstered by the Aladdin portfolio management software introduced in 1998, proved immensely profitable for BlackRock and its stakeholders. Aladdin's predictive capabilities, coupled with its vast database of investor information, enabled BlackRock to assess investment risks effectively. This technology propelled BlackRock to the forefront of ETF investing, a trend projected to drive global ETF assets to $25 trillion by 2025, further enriching BlackRock. The ramifications of BlackRock's influence are evident today. Currently, BlackRock oversees assets equivalent to 10% of the world economy. Major corporations like Fox, Comcast, and Disney must consult with BlackRock before significant decisions, given its substantial ownership stakes. Moreover, BlackRock and other giants like Vanguard are dominant shareholders in global tech giants like Google, Facebook, and Amazon, fostering an environment lacking in competition. This concentration of ownership, particularly in sectors like airlines where BlackRock and Vanguard rank among the top shareholders, stifles competitive pricing. Consequently, consumer choice diminishes and prices inflate. Such consolidation also grants investment firms like BlackRock significant sway over the companies they invest in, potentially surpassing the influence of company executives. Even Jack Bogle, Vanguard's founder, acknowledges the adverse effects of such ownership concentration, warning against the repercussions for the global economy. The consolidation of wealth in the hands of a select few poses significant risks to economic stability and fairness. There are solutions that governments could put in place to stop these companies from gathering this much influence. Things like not allowing funds and ETFs to vote as shareholders in companies, or creating ownership caps that would dictate how much of a company can be owned by a single entity. Laws can be passed limiting how much influence an investment firm can have in the companies they're invested in, even if that influence is intended to be benevolent, like with the ESG. But how soon could any of this happen? Because BlackRock and Vanguard are less than a decade away from managing $20 trillion in assets. That would upend the asset management industry and intensify the already staggering ownership consolidation of the world's largest companies, sending prices through the roof. Here's the thing, the more money BlackRock handles, the less it charges investors. Sounds great, right? But here's the catch. This sets up a dangerous cycle where what seems like a smart investment today could lead to big problems tomorrow, for both our wallets and our society. Sadly, many folks can't afford to think that far ahead. Short-term gains are all that matter, and that's where BlackRock thrives. They're banking on you turning a blind eye to their contradictions on the environment, diversity, and human rights because they talk a good game about being responsible. Their future relies on investors not caring about these issues. But here's the kicker. A lot of these investors don't even realize they're invested with BlackRock. They're just part of a pension plan or a fund that BlackRock manages. Sure, there are smaller funds that support ESG investing without these conflicts of interest. And there are ways for us to manage our own investments to avoid supporting companies like BlackRock. But let's face it, using these big flawed companies is just easier. It's like relying on Amazon for quick deliveries. Convenient, but not without its drawbacks. As the spotlight on big companies grows brighter, BlackRock has been quick to spin its image as a force for good, but let's not be fooled. Their public image often clashes with their private actions, and that's not likely to change anytime soon. It's up to us as consumers and investors to see through the smoke and mirrors. Taking them at their word might be easier, but that's exactly what BlackRock is counting on. And that's how they've managed to climb to the top. Thanks a bunch for sticking around until the end. You're a legend. Don't forget to subscribe and like our channel.